right, welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. Talk about FAFSA college planning. This is Lupe Hernandez. She works for the Iowa College Access Network. You have some materials there that she brought in. They do a great job. We've been working together for the 8 years I've been here, and she's probably been coming here way before that. So great resource. This program is awesome. It's a great way to prepare yourself for after high school and things like that. So I'll let her take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Reisinger. Like you said, my name is Lupe. I work for Iowa College Access Network, or ICANN. We are a nonprofit organization, so all of our services are at no cost to your district, to you as parents. This here is my contact information. I do have an office downtown in Iowa City above Buffalo Wild Wings. So if you ever need to come see me for financial aid purposes or whatever appointment you might need from us, that is physically where my office is located. We also offer virtual appointments through Zoom as well, if you cannot make it to one of our physical offices. My business card is over at that desk, so if you didn't get one already, feel free to grab one before you head out. The reason why we are able to be a nonprofit organization is thanks to many partners that believe in ICANN's mission. This event is actually being sponsored locally by Farmer State Bank, and someone from their office is here tonight, which you will hear from in a little bit, and also from Kirkwood Community College, and we have someone from their admissions office here as well, which you will hear from. So it won't just be me, it's going to be some of, again, ICANN's partners that will be discussing and going over some information with you. So these materials, I am aware that not everybody got both of these booklets. The green one is the financial aid guide, okay? So if you got a green one, and you are currently a sophomore, it'd be super nice if you gave it to a junior. If not, no worries. We are running out of materials. It's coming to the end of the school year, so we do not have as much inventory as we usually have, but everyone should have gotten a Life After High School, the teal colored one. This is more of a college planning booklet. All of our materials are also available online, so if you're like, dang it, I didn't get the green one for financial aid and I really want to see it, go to our website. It is available in PDF format. And we will also be updating this booklet during the summer. So it will be up to date when your students become high school seniors. So feel free to visit our website, and you should also have this handout for those. This pertains more to the class of 2027, so current juniors, because this has to do with filing the financial aid form. We are going to go over a lot of stuff in a very short amount of time, you guys. I'm really going to try hard to keep it to under an hour, but we are combining two topics into one. So the first part of the night will be based on college and career planning, and the second part will be on the financial aid process. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, we're going to start with career assessments. All right, this is literally the first step in planning for post-secondary education. Students should be doing career assessments, exploring what options are out there. This is literally going to start the conversation of where are we going to go on campus visits? Do we need to go, do I need to go to a college? What if I just do an apprenticeship? What if it's just like a training or a certificate? So assessments is a series of short questions that the students will answer, and it will kind of guide them up in a potential career pathway. I always tell students, like, do not expect your career assessment to tell you exactly what you are going to be. You should see this as a tool to kind of help guide you. So it's not going to say, hey, you're going to be a cardiologist, you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be a sports analyst, you're going to be whatever. Like, don't expect that, because you should use it as a tool to kind of guide you. So when your school counselor comes to you every year and he tells you, hey, it's time to register for next year's classes, you guys are using the results of these assessments to help build your schedule, so you guys are taking classes that will help you with your potential career. So if your assessments say, hey, you might be interested in doing something in healthcare, okay, maybe I should load up on more science, more math. Maybe I should look into doing Kirkwood classes while I'm still in high school. So those are things that your career assessment results will help you with. We also want students to understand the economic outlook. What is this going to look like when students go out into the workforce? Are they going to be able to find jobs in their field locally? Do you have to move out of state? Do you have to move to a different part of the country? Also, income. How much money are they going to be making? Because however much your starting salary is going to be is going to determine how much money students should be spending on their education. So you're going to find a lot of information in these booklets about economic outlook, and some of the resources we use are listed here. These are available to you. They are free. So feel free to go in here. The U.S. Department of Commerce, the Occupational Outlook Handbook, and the Iowa Job Growth websites. So if you do want more in-depth information about careers that the student is interested in, these are really good resources to find more in-depth information. We encourage students to get hands-on experience in the form of internships and job shadows. Here in the area, we are very lucky to have an organization that hooks students up with job shadows and internships. And the reason why we encourage this is because sometimes students don't realize what an actual job entails. They think they do because you see it on TikTok, you see it on TV, you think you know what happens on a day-to-day basis, but you don't really, right? So let's say that, you know, you do your career assessments and it says you might be a good, I don't know, nurse practitioner, whatever. You would get set up with a professional in that field, and you would shadow them for half a day or whatever, and see if it's really what you want to do. If you're going to invest time and money into your education, you want to make sure that this is really what you want to do. Okay, you want to talk to your counselor about doing those job shadows, when you can sign up, who helps you with all that stuff. So just make sure you're keeping your eyes open and reading those emails from them about doing those job shadows in your community. And a plus is that it's going to look good on paper when you guys do your scholarship applications, because again, a lot of scholarships are based on what you do outside of this building. Okay, so that's something that you can definitely put into your activities resume when you start to apply for those scholarships. Another form of experience, hands-on experience, is volunteering your time. Summer's coming up, okay? So if you don't have a job, see if you can volunteer anywhere. If you don't have anything else going on, I know some students have summer sports, but consider volunteering. The pool's opening up in Iowa City, so see there, the library, the hospital. These are all excellent places to volunteer and again get some hands-on experience on certain career fields, and again it's going to look good on paper and it will hopefully get you some scholarship money. The website volunteermatch.com, I've used it and I advocate for it all the time because it helps you, it gives you a list of what's available for volunteer opportunities in Johnson County. All right, so go to volunteermatch.com, put in your zip code, minus 52245, right? And then it asks, what are you interested in? I'm like, I like animals, right? So then it's going to give you a list of who's looking for volunteers, all right? The Johnson County Humane Society, vets might be having an event that they need volunteers for. So it's a good place to find some volunteer opportunities here in Johnson County. So the options that are out there are a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of times when young people think of post-secondary education, a lot of them think that it entails a 4-year degree. And sometimes it does, depending on what you want to major in. But sometimes it doesn't. Depending on what the career assessments say and depending on what the student's goal is for a career, you may not need a 4-year degree. You may need less or you might need more. All right, so for students here, please, when you are looking at your career assessments, at your options, keep your minds and options open. It can mean an apprenticeship, it can be a certificate, a diploma, a 2-year associate's, a 4-year bachelor's, a master's, a doctorate. It also includes military and specialized training. So there are many options depending on what that end goal is. And is education and training worth it? It obviously is. We know the monetary benefits, of course, but a lot of times we don't take into account non-monetary benefits. Things like improved physical and mental health, greater life satisfaction, more career options for advancement. So it's not just, of course, earning more money, it's also having a better quality of life if you pursue post-secondary education. So when you're considering what to go into, what program to go into, what college to go to, there are some things to consider, all right? Keep these in mind as you guys are scheduling your campus visits this spring and summer. First and foremost, what programs and majors are available, all right? So if you're thinking education, if you're thinking business, you want to make sure the college has those programs available to offer. Cost versus financial aid. Of course, we understand college is expensive, but you need to understand also that colleges have a lot of scholarships to award. I'm thinking specifically of those private colleges. Private colleges do tend to have a higher price tag, but a lot of times those private four-year colleges come back with some really, really good financial offers. So what I tell students is, you know, if you're looking at the list of colleges and you're like, you know what, I really like this school, the only thing is that cost. If you really like it, go through the process, right? Go through the process of going on a campus visit, applying for admissions, filing your financial aid form. You don't have to decide where to attend a college until May 1 of your senior year. May 1 senior year is National Commitment Day. By then, students should have already applied, gotten accepted, gotten a financial offer, and then you can decide, is this college affordable if I decide to go here. What type of school is it? Is it public? Is it private? What does that even mean to you, to your funding options? Is it a community college? All right, is it in-state? Is it out-of-state? For those of you considering going out-of-state colleges, please consider the out-of-state tuition. Depending on what type of college it is, you might have to pay out-of-state tuition, so please pay attention to that. The location, I know a lot of young people want to get away, understandable, but also think about where you want to lead to. You know, the cost of living, will you be able to come home on the weekends maybe, or during breaks, or is that not going to be an option for you? The dorms and apartments, right? So if you are going to be going to a college that has dorms, you know, are they secure? Is there security 24/7? Are the doors always locked? Is it male floor, female floor? Is it male building, female building? So definitely consider that. Also, if you have to share a room, a lot of young people nowadays have never shared a bedroom. You guys have always had your own room, so sharing a room might be kind of different for you guys, so definitely consider it. If a college does not have dorms, what options for housing do you have? Okay, Kirkwood doesn't have dorms. DMAC doesn't have dorms. So what are the housing options if you did decide to go to those schools? Consider the campus environment. All right, things like student life, Greek life, spiritual community. What I tell students is if you're interested in a school, follow them on social media. Follow them on Snapchat, on Instagram, on TikTok, and you kind of get a vibe of what type of campus it is by kind of what they post on their social media accounts. Transportation and parking, I know this seems very minimal, but we live here. You guys know that Iowa City downtown right now is different than what it's going to be next week during spring break, right? A lot of times a vehicle is not needed. It is wanted because you want to go wherever, you know, but a lot of times the vehicle is not needed. So when you go on your campus visit, pay attention to the parking situation, all right? You don't want to be that student that can't register for spring classes because you haven't paid your parking bills, right? Another thing to keep in mind is the transfer options. If you start off at a community college, can you transfer easily, seamlessly to that four-year school? There's something called the 2+2 program, where you would start off at a 2-year college, do your gen ed courses, and then transfer to that whatever four-year college you want to end up at. If you plan to do this, please make sure that you are planning. Make sure that the classes you're taking at a community college will be accepted at the college you're going to transfer into. And this is where communicating with academic advisors at both of these institutions will be very helpful. Again, so you're not wasting time and money taking classes that you're going to have to retake again, all right? So more information on transferring, we have some websites up there that you can look into. Again, this is another way for students to save a little money on tuition, maybe live at home, all right, where you don't have to be spending money on housing, or also students who, they still kind of don't know what they want to study, so they do their 2 years at a community college, kind of figure it out, and then declare a major during that time. I've been talking about campus visits because at ICANN, we really want you to go see the campus for yourself. On an official campus visit, and I'm not talking about, oh yeah, we tailgate every Saturday in the fall. That's not a campus visit. You need to go on an official campus visit so you can see the college the way that you're meant to see it. I encourage you to go on a campus visit when college is in session. I understand that maybe you have time during spring break next week, or maybe time in the summer, but there's going to be no students on campus in the summer. And you need to see the school the way it's going to look like when you're going to be there, okay? Some things to do and see, of course, a campus tour. Some colleges, depending on the college, they might let you stay overnight. The Regents will not let you stay overnight, but some smaller private institutions might. So definitely look into that. You can go on an official, you can call the admissions office and say, hey, I want to come on a campus visit with my family. It's going to be a private tour, or you can go on a campus visit day. I'm going to have Nick from Kirkwood talk about those campus visit days at Kirkwood.
All right. Sorry to make everyone turn around. I'm over on the side. So campus visit days, just like Lupe was saying, you have the option if you wanted to do like a one-on-one visit, or if you'd rather come on a group setting. The biggest thing I'd say with the campus visits, first off, go on those. Like anyone who visits Kirkwood, for example, obviously we hope you choose Kirkwood, but we want you to visit other places too, so you know you're making the right choice for you, so you can be most successful once you get there. And then up to you on which option. If you want to be in that group setting, a lot of times you get to talk to a lot more people that day, from the staff side, current students, faculty members, versus individual. It's a lot more personalized, but you'll spend most of that time with an admissions advisor, and they'll still tour you around. You still see lab spaces where you'll spend a lot of your time as a student. So they each have their perks, and if you're ever in doubt as you're looking to visit a college, whether Kirkwood or elsewhere, call into the admissions office. We'd be happy to talk through what the options are and kind of figure out what the best visit option would be for you, depending on either questions you have or certain things you want to see. And don't be afraid to request certain things that you want to make sure you do while you're there as well, because we'd be more than happy to accommodate that. I know other colleges are in the exact same boat there as well. So if there's a certain person that you want to talk to while you're there, a faculty member or whatever it might be, don't be afraid to request all those as well. And like I said, take pictures, take it all in, talk to current students if you can, because they're the ones who are living that on a daily basis. So you get a good opportunity that way as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks.
For those students who are considering continuing your extracurriculars, whether it's athletics, music, or theater, when you go on your campus visits, make sure that you mention this. So if you do want to continue, participating in your college theater or band or whatever sport it is, see if that's going to be an option for you. When you guys go on your campus visits, make sure that you get business cards from whomever you talk to. Mr. Reisinger is a very knowledgeable school counselor, and but he's not going to know, if Mount Mercy University has gotten your verification form for financial aid. So make sure that you do get business cards from everyone that you talk to on your campus visits, so you know exactly who to contact if you have those very specific questions. And for the students, please make a good impression on during your campus visits. All right, make sure that you are involved in this process, that you're asking questions. If a phone is going to be a distraction, put it in silent, turn it off, leave it in the car. It's going to be there. Just make sure that you are asking those questions and being involved in this process. Shameless plug, because we are putting together a pretty neat event coming up here pretty soon. It's called the Future Ready Career and College Fair. It is the second largest college fair in the state. It is coming up on Sunday, March 29th from 1 to 3, and it's at the Hotel at Kirkwood Center. I can never remember the actual name. The Hotel at Kirkwood Center, so it's not too far. So again, it's on a Sunday from 1 to 3. It's a free event. You do not have to register. But for students who will be attending, we do recommend that you get your Stripe scan code set up. So if you do talk to a college and you're interested and you want them to send you more information, you can show them your code and they have it right there. So again, free event, Future Ready Career and College Fair, Sunday, March 29th, 1 to 3 at Hotel at Kirkwood Center.
What code are you talking about?
Stripe scan. So if you, let's say that I'm a student and I'm talking about Kirkwood, I get my stripe scan code, and then you show it to the rep, they'll scan it, and then they'll get your contact info. You know how in like old school you used to fill in your name, like in a little card?
Yeah,
No more.
back before.
Yes, back before stripe scan. All right, college and, oop, too far. College admissions and criteria and the application process. So there's a few things that go into the admissions process. One of them, of course, is being a grade point average, or GPA. This is a measure of the student's academic performance. It's going to make a great impact on college admissions. College admissions representatives really focus on junior and senior grades, because this is the time when students are taking the more challenging classes, right? So your advanced placement, your dual enrollment courses. So colleges want to see, you know, that you are challenging yourself, that you are doing well in those courses. Another thing one thing that I do want to mention specifically is the world language requirement for some colleges. This is something I think you should bring up when you are going on your college campus visits or to a college fair. Just bring it up, because it could save the student a lot of hassle in the future when it comes to a world language, all right? A lot of colleges, they have different requirements for a world language into their institution, and even within that college, different departments might have different requirements. And my advice to you is, if you're able to take care of your world language requirements here while you're in high school, do it now, because college level foreign language is quite challenging, right? So just make sure that you are taking care of that, hopefully while you're here in high school. So please make sure that you're asking that question. You know, if you go to our college fair on the 29th and you're like, hey, I already done 2 years of Spanish, should I do a third year Spanish? You know, depending on what you major in, they might say, no, you're good, or yeah, maybe do 1 more year, or else you might have to do an additional world language while you attend our institution. So keep that in mind. Another thing is entrance exams. A lot of colleges have gone test optional for the ACT or SAT. So a lot of colleges do not require a score for admissions, but that doesn't mean you should not take the ACT or SAT. If a college doesn't require it, we think, at least me personally, I think you should still consider taking it, because you might need it for scholarships. You might not need it for admissions, but you might need it for scholarships, whether it's institutional scholarships or scholarships locally, all right? And also, if you do not take the ACT, there is additional things that college might ask you to do. For example, come in for an interview, or write a personal statement, or you might have to do an additional test once you are enrolled in that school. So we encourage you to take the ACT, again, because in my opinion, it's not going to do any harm to take that ACT. But of course, you really want to talk to your college admissions reps about that. So, with that being said, saying that I do advocate for taking the ACT, I am going to discuss it in further detail. The ACT and SAT are both accepted at every college in the country. All right, so if a student takes the ACT and they end up applying to Georgia Tech and they're an SAT school, they can convert the ACT into an SAT score, and vice versa. Depending on what program they go into, students might have to take the AccuPlacer, the ALEX, or the ASSET test. And if they're going to go into the military, they for sure have to do the ASVAB test. All right, so prepare for the test. All right, so this is a common question that we get from students about, well, how do I study for the test? The ACT is a knowledge-based test. So you've been studying for the ACT since you got into 9th grade. The ACT tests you on what you've been learning from 9th grade till the end of your junior year. So you have been doing that, right? To prepare for the test, it's good to kind of do some practice tests. ACT.org. ACT.org has some free timed ACT prep. There's some changes to the ACT. There's no more science. So that's a new one. And I believe it's shorter. I think it's 2 hours now. So definitely look into that. So prepare for the test, score well. The highest score you can get on the ACT is a 36, and you want to talk to your colleges as far as what you should be striving for, right? So when you're talking to your colleges, and if you've already done the ACT, you'll be like, hey, I took the ACT, I got a 24, am I good? Should I take it again? So this will determine if you should take that test one more time. If you talk to a college and you're like, hey, you are gonna get our maximum type of, our maximum institutional scholarship with your ACT score, you're good, then why take it again? You're already there, right? But if you're at a 24, and if you get maybe a 25, 26, you might get an additional $1,000, $2,000, take the test again. Because it's likely that you will score higher and you will get that additional money from the school. You can retake the test as many times as you want. No, that's not true. You can take it up to 12 times. I'm sorry. Up to 12 times. Do not take it 12 times, you guys. Studies show that after the second or third time of taking the ACT, it's going to level out. It's not going to go higher. All right. I'm actually going to have Nick help me out with entrance exams, specifically for Kirkwood, and depending on what major they go into, like nursing or business, just kind of what your advice would be.
Yeah, so like we said, if in doubt, take the ACT, just because that's going to be universal to anywhere you go. Otherwise, back to the importance of like talking with your admissions rep, so whether that's the individual visit, a group session, or just reaching out to us via phone or email. Because Kirkwood, for example, we've redone our testing requirements. Within the last year, we've been updating a lot of this. And that's saying that for some of our programs, you do not need a math placement test. There's others of our programs that it's a quick, like 5-question assessment online. That's more so asking about your background in math, what classes you've taken, what grades you've gotten. So not actually answering math questions. But there's others of our degrees, like kind of in that STEM, IT area, that we do require an in-person math placement test. So on one hand, it's more confusing than it was. On the other hand, that means a lot of you don't have to take as many tests anymore as what you used to. So that's again the importance of reaching out to each college individually, or if there's multiple colleges that you're considering, reach out to multiple to see what they are requesting that you take. But like for us, if you did the ACT, you're golden. You're good with everything. You don't have to worry about any of the testing that I just mentioned. ACT covers it. But again, just reach out to the colleges, be in communication with us. We'll let you know exactly what you need. And then we will likely let you know more than that as well. For example, today I was emailing with a dad and a daughter about some other topics, and then I realized as I was looking into her account, like, oh, you need to do this other step as well. So I was able to give some additional advice along with what they were actually asking about. So reach out to us and we'd be happy to help with that, because it has kind of fluctuated the last few years with a lot of colleges as far as what we actually require for the testing.
Thank you. We have some websites for you regarding that. So the first one is for the ASVAB. So for those of you considering military, also the ASVAB is kind of a good career assessment tool as well. So consider taking the ASVAB even if you are not going to do military, because again it might guide you to a potential career. ACT.org is the official ACT website. And then collegeboard.org, they are the ones that handle the SAT, and for those of you who are taking AP classes, they also do the advanced placement courses as well. Okay? All right. So to summarize this section, there are 3 key components for admissions. It is your GPA, your ACT score, and the number of core courses you've taken here in high school. Of course, your core courses would be your English, your math, your science, your social, and your world language. With that being said, I'm going to go a little bit into detail if you are considering applying to one of our 3 Regent universities. If you are considering applying for University of Iowa, University of Northern Iowa, or Iowa State, this is going to be the fastest and easiest way to apply to these 3 colleges is by using their Iowa Board of Regents Admission Index. This is the formula. So by doing this formula, by applying this way, this is what's going to happen. They're going to take 3 times your ACT score, add it to 30 times your high school GPA, and then add it to the number of core courses you've taken here at Clear Creek Amana High School. When you add this up, this number needs to be a 245 or higher. If you get a 245 or higher, it's automatic admission into these 3 institutions. If you decide not to apply with an ACT score, this formula is invalid, and they will look at you holistically. They're going to look at your transcript. They're going to look at the classes you've taken, and again, they might have you do a personal statement because they want to make sure that you will be a right fit for their institution. But if you do the RAI, if you apply this way, it's automatic admission. You're going to find out right away if you get accepted or denied. So you apply for admissions soon after you come back from summer break. In actuality, colleges open up their admissions applications the summer between junior and senior year, so you can apply in July, August if you want. But a lot of students apply for admissions after they come back from summer break. Some parts of the application, basic demographic information. You guys, please make sure that when you apply for admissions, everything matches that Social Security card. All right? I'll give you an example with me. I go by Lupe, but this is not my government name, right? So everything has to match that Social Security card. Make sure that you get the date of birth correct, the Social Security number correct. They're probably going to ask you for your high school transcripts. However they do it here in Mr. Reisinger's office, whether you can download it yourself, whether you have to request it, find out how that's done. Have your ACT scores ready to go if you're going to apply with ACT scores. Fees, if the college does charge a fee, I believe the regions do have a $55 non-refundable fee. Private colleges are free to apply, and community colleges are free to apply as well. Again, do not be surprised if you apply without an ACT score. They might request an interview or some letters of recommendation. So again, just because you didn't do an ACT score doesn't mean that you just, they need something else to fill that gap, right? And then whatever other steps the colleges will ask of you. After you apply, continue working hard in high school. Unfortunately, some students, when they apply fall of their senior year and they get that acceptance letter, they're like, well, I got into the college of my choice. I'm good to go. I'm going to take it easy, right? Colleges will ask for the final transcript in May. And if the GPA goes down, or if the schedule, that you change your courses to have a bunch of free periods, they're going to notice that. So just make sure that you are working hard all throughout your high school senior year. Make sure that you are searching for scholarships. In the meantime, once you get accepted, you will have access to the college's scholarship portals. So just make sure that you are looking into that. Make sure that you are applying for financial aid in a timely manner once you get accepted. And then also wait to hear back from the schools for whatever else other information they might need from you. All right, we're halfway done. I'm going to stop for questions if there are any. If not, we will continue. All right.
Can you
Yes.
go to that slide?
The previous one?
The previous one, like number ACT score, then GPA. Yeah, this one.
Okay, that one.
So this one is 245 or greater is required for automatic admission.
It's an automatic admission to the region universities.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, what is financial aid? Financial aid is made up of gift aid, which is free money you do not have to pay back. It can be in the form of grants or scholarships. Financial aid also includes loans that you have to pay back plus interest, and it also includes working, whether it's on campus or off campus while a student is in college. So again, when you guys are going on your campus visits and a college says, yes, we offer financial aid, your next question should be, what type of financial aid are we talking about? Because again, it could be different types of financial aid. Real quick, I just want to go over some realities and misunderstandings about financial aid that some people have. Many scholarships are for incoming freshmen, right? So a lot of scholarships are for those graduating seniors. So some students kind of get a shock once they are in college and then they're getting ready for their sophomore year and they're like, wait, where does money go? Well, it's a scholarship that you got as a senior that is not renewable. So be prepared for that, please. Some scholarships have requirements for you to maintain that money. If you get an academic scholarship from the college, it's going to say you must maintain a 3.0 GPA or whatever to keep getting this scholarship. Please be aware of this because some students unfortunately are not, and their GPA slips and they lose that funding. You should be planning for all years of college. college, not just the first one. So when you become a senior and you're getting your financial offer, just make sure that depending on your program, do you need to do this 2 more times, 4 more times? Because again, colleges is going to be different years. It's not just that first year. Have frequent and honest family conversations about paying for college. I know it's sometimes just uncomfortable topic to talk about money, but this is a money for college, right? So have that conversation about, is mom and dad going to help me? If so, how much are they going to help? If not, then you know what is to come, so you need to be applying for those scholarships. Some misunderstandings is that financial aid is meant to pay for all college costs. That is not true, okay? There is going to be some type of out-of-pocket cost at some point. And that sometimes families say, well, the only financial aid is gift aid. That is not true. I already went over that financial aid includes loans and working off campus, okay? So just some terminology for you. So cost of attendance is made up of direct cost. This is what's going to be billed to the student. This is tuition fees, housing and food. Indirect cost is books, supplies, transportation, and miscellaneous expenses. This is spending money, going to Ponchero's money, spending money at Target, whatever. So again, I always tell families when you're looking at the cost of attendance, you should focus on that direct cost because these are things that you have to pay, all right? Sticker price versus net price. Sticker price is what the college will say their cost of attendance is going to be. Net price is what you're actually going to pay, all right? So if you want to know, as you're going on your campus visits, you know, if I do go to St. Ambrose University, if I do go to Wartburg College, you know, they have a pretty, you know, $50,000, $60,000. How much am I really going to be paying? Go on their website, type in net price calculator, and it will tell you the net price based on the student's academic and some financial questions for the family. So we have links to every college's net price calculator on our website if you go to that blue link there. And every college in the country. So if you're thinking, I want to go to University of Michigan, go to universityofmichigan.edu, type in net price calculator, answer the questions, and it will tell you how much it's going to cost to go to that institution. Sources of financial aid are several. We're going to go over all 4 of these. First, we're going to go over federal aid. Federal aid includes the Pell Grant, FSEOG, work study, and loans. By filing the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, you are applying for these programs and the college will let you know which ones you qualify for, okay? I will, though, talk about loans because everyone that does a financial aid form, a FAFSA, will be offered a loan. There are 2 types of loans. One is where there is no interest when the student is in college. This is called the subsidized loan. And one is where the student is what did I just say? So subsidized, the government's paying the interest when the student is in college. So when they're in college, no interest, no payments. But the unsubsidized, the student is responsible to pay that interest while they're in school, and the interest does accrue quarterly, okay? Interest rates this year are at 6.3%. These loans get recalculated on July 1. So we don't know what it's going to be like for the next class until July 1. And if you guys are class of 2027, we're not going to know what your interest rates will be until July 2027. Okay? For federal loans, there is a 6-month grace period. So if you accept the federal loans, you have 6 months after you graduate to find a job, or if you drop below half time, you will have 6 months to start repaying that loan. The fees are 1%, and the money will go directly to the college. So it's very likely you're not going to see this money. The money will go from the Department of Ed to the college, and then if there's money left over, then they'll reimburse the student. There are limits to how much federal loans you can borrow. Freshmen can borrow $5,500, sophomores $6,500, juniors and seniors $7,500. The reason why freshmen get so little is because the Department of Ed is banking on high school seniors getting a lot of those local scholarships. So that's why it increases every year, because some of those scholarships that they qualified for as seniors in high school, they are not renewable. Parents will be offered a loan called the PLUS loan. All right, so if there is a funding gap, the college will give you the option to do a plus loan. A plus loan is the loan under the parent's name for the student's education. I'll be very honest, it's not a popular product when I bring it up because the interest rate is high. All right, the fees are at 4.2%. Okay, so if you're like, no, we will not be doing that, what else can we do? All right, so your other option would be to go with a private lender. So a private lender, a private loan will be under the student's name, but then they're going to be asking for a cosigner. And the interest rate will be based on the cosigner's credit score. These are 4 student loan lenders available. I'm not advocating for any of them. You do your research. You pick the one that's going to be the best product for the student. The reason why I bring this up is because if you go to your Green State or FSB or Veridian and you're like, hey, I need a student loan, they're going to be like, you don't have a student loan product, and they don't. These are the types of lenders that would have a student loan product. And as of March, as of this month, earlier this month, this is what those interest rates are right now. Okay? State of Iowa also offers financial aid. The requirements are that the student must be an Iowa resident, attending an Iowa college. These programs listed here, the only requirement to qualify for these is to file the FAFSA. By doing the FAFSA, you're applying for these as well, and the college will let you know which programs the student qualifies for on their financial offer. Okay? This is more financial aid from the state of Iowa, but these programs here also require an additional application. All right, so you need to do the FAFSA, but then you also need to do the Iowa financial aid form. We have provided you a link because the actual link is really long and weird. So if you just go to that one, it'll take you directly to the Iowa application, financial aid application. If you have me do the FAFSA for you, we're going to do the FAFSA, and we're also going to do this application as well. It takes 3 minutes to do the FAFSA. All right. Institutional aid. This is based on the school's funding. When students apply and get accepted, this is a question that needs to be asked. All right. Now that I'm accepted, are there any scholarship deadlines? What about departmental scholarships, foundation scholarships? These are things that need to be asked once the student applies and gets accepted. Nick, can you just talk a little bit about the foundation scholarship through Kirkwood?
Yeah, so through Kirkwood, our deadline for current seniors in high school or any of our Kirkwood students, deadline is actually this coming Sunday. So March 15th is the deadline for ours. The way that our scholarship works, I know a lot of colleges are going this route, it's one application you fill out, and then so if ours it's one essay included, and then we'll automatically filter you into every scholarship that you're eligible for. So one application puts you in the running for all of the scholarships. And like I said, I know a lot of colleges are going more this route where it's one app. So then we will figure out which ones you're eligible for based on that. And kind of do the harder work for you on that side where you don't have to do multiple different applications. But it is important to please take your time on the essays. For example, ours is a maximum 600 words. Which, if you actually take your time and fill it out, it's not that many words, but it never fails. We'll have students that will submit their scholarship app. They might write a 2 to 3 sentence essay. They're probably not getting any money. So we do want to see that you're putting the time and effort into those essays, especially with these one application that's in for everything. It's that same essay that they're going to be looking at for each one of those different scholarship buckets that you're eligible for. So the more time you put in, the more you tell your personal story, the more likely you are to get a scholarship too. So you'll get hounded your entire senior year to fill out scholarships, but please listen to that as well. It will definitely pay itself off. And don't count yourself out for scholarships ahead of time. They're not all just for valedictorian top of the class. There's a lot of different rhymes and reasons available for scholarships out there.
Back in November, I did a webinar on the scholarship process from beginning to end, from where to look for scholarships, the application, the essay, the thank you notes, the activities resumes. So if you go to our website here, you will find a link to that webinar that I did back in November. Check with your school counselor. They have information about the local scholarships. So make sure that you are applying for as many of those as possible. The Johnson County Community Foundation, the Hills Bank, the Viridian, the MediaCom, the Mid-American Energy. Those are scholarships that you probably are already customers of them. So you already qualify for those types of scholarships. I'm going to have Gabby from MSFSB talk about scholarships for banking institutions.
So there are some limited banks that will offer scholarships through their direct institution, but here also Clear Creek, the foundation actually offers a variety of scholarships that are here local. They're available to anybody. There's no, requirement to maintain a certain GPA and, past high school. They range from $500 to $7,000, which can be a huge, help with books or supplies or travel, whatever you want to use it for. And they're targeted for different areas. So some of them are if you want to go to a trade school. Some of them if you want to be in journalism. So it kind of covers all the bases. It's not restrictive. On the website, ccaschools.foundation.org, you'll find all the available scholarships. Our deadline is March 31st for those. And just like Nick mentioned, you have to do an essay, so take your time. We do review them all personally. Doesn't matter if there's 10 of them or 100 of them. So keep that in mind. Also through FSB's website, you can, there's a scholarship link there too, and it'll take you to resources on how to get financial aid as well.
All right, thank you so much. We have a scholarship database. It's fairly new. It's called Step 1 Scholarships. If you go to this QR code, it will take you to the website. I also have a handout over there. Again, this is a really good resource. They're not going to be scammy scholarships. They are legit. This is where you're going to find national, regional, state, and local scholarships. So it's a one-place location for all of these where you can look for scholarships. Let's transition over to the FAFSA. So I've been mentioning this. This is the free application for federal student aid. The purpose of this application is to take a snapshot of your family's financial situation. All right. This application will become available October 1st of the student's senior year. So for the graduating class of 2027, you will be able to start filling this out on October 1st. If you want to be considered for federal or state financial aid, you need to fill out this application, okay? Sometimes parents will come to me after a presentation like this and they're like, Lupe, we're not going to get anything. We make too much money, we have too many assets, we're not going to get anything. Should I even bother with this application? If you come and ask me that question, I'm going to tell you I think you should. I think you should fill it out. You already know that you're not going to qualify for need-based aid because you are not a need-based family. But what if there is a scholarship that requires the application to be completed in order for your student to get a merit scholarship? I just don't want your students to miss out on scholarships because in your mind you're thinking, well, this is only for need-based families. It's not. This application may be required for any scholarship that your student might be applying for. This handout that you have is a list of items you need to complete the FAFSA. Okay, I'm not going to go over them in detail pretty much, but you're going to need social security numbers, date of birth, tax returns. So for the graduating class of 2027, you guys are going to be using your 2025 tax returns. The taxes that you guys are getting ready to file here pretty soon or have already done, have those ready to go because you're going to need them in October. Balance of checking and savings accounts or any other investments that are not retirement. I will go over that here in just a second. Or you can look in the sheet that you have and it will tell you what assets are reported and what are things that need to be filled out. The student and the parent need to have student.gov accounts. This is a username and a password. Everybody needs an account, the student and the parent, in order to fill out this application. This is how you will access the form, sign, submit, make corrections, check the status. This is a very important piece of the puzzle that you need, and you do not have to wait until October to set it up. You can actually go home tonight or this summer or sometime, but I do recommend that you do get it set up before you start filling out this application, okay? Let's go over who needs to fill out this application as far as a family goes. So if both parents are married, then you're gonna answer questions about, both parents, because they're married. If both legal parents are not married but they live together, you have to include both parents. If they live together under the same roof but not married, you still have to include both. If the parent is widowed or single, you're going to answer questions about that parent, all right? If that parent is remarried, then it's that parent's information and the step parents. If parents are divorced or separated, then you're going to provide information of the parent that has provided more financial support for the student in the past 12 months. It happens every time that parents will say, well, it's 50-50. It's financially, it's 50-50. Time spent is 50-50. A lot of colleges use the determining factor of who provides the health insurance for the student. All right? So be that as it may, you want to contact the colleges, again, if you do have more in-depth questions about whose information needs to be provided. But if this parent is remarried, then you're going to provide information on that parent and their spouse on the application. Okay? The form is now a role-based form. What this means is that there's going to be a student section there's going to be a student application and a parent application. When you log in, you are not going to see questions that do not pertain to you. I'll give you an example. This past fall, a parent called me and they said, Lupe, I just did the FAFSA, but it didn't ask me what colleges I wanted to send this application to. It's like, well, you are the parent, right? You are not going to be the one attending college, so this question is not going to come up for you. It is going to come up under the student section. So a role-based form means that you are only going to see questions that pertain to you. All right? Keep in mind also that a parent or a contributor is not it's not the grandparents, it's not the foster parents, it's not the legal guardians, it's not siblings, it's not uncles, it's not a friend that I live with. If you have a unique situation that you're like, I don't know if this person's information needs to be provided, please contact somebody. Call me, call the college, make sure that you are getting the correct information from a reliable source as far as who needs to be involved in this process. Something new on this application is that students all contributors must provide consent for the IRS to share your 2025 tax returns with the Department of Ed. So remember how I said earlier that you need to have your 2025 taxes with you? You may not need them. If you have an appointment with me, I'm going to ask you to bring your 2025 taxes, but it's very likely that you're not going to need them. Sometimes this little handy-dandy feature on the website doesn't work, so we have to manually enter in the info. So it's always a good idea to have them. But it's very likely that once you provide consent, everything will be done for you behind the scenes. So you will not have to manually enter in any tax information. But you do have to allow for the IRS to communicate with the Department of Ed so that information can be shared. If you refuse to provide consent, the FAFSA will be considered incomplete and the student will be ineligible for financial aid. So it's pretty much a requirement. All right, so dependency status for the student. This determines if the student can file by themselves or if they still need to provide parent information. If the student answers no to all of these questions, that means they are dependent and parent information has to be provided. If the student answers yes to at least one question, then they file the FAFSA by themselves. So they're asking the student, are you 24? Are you married? Are you going to be in grad school? Are you currently serving in active duty? Do you have children that you financially support? Are both of your parents deceased? Were you ever in foster care, under legal guardianship, or in homeless or an unaccompanied youth? If students answers no to all of this, parents' info has to be provided, okay? Sometimes parents will ask me, well, does it matter if I claim them on my taxes? Well, what if I don't claim them? Does that make a difference on if I have to provide my information? The answer is no. And actually, you don't want to do that because then you will not get the benefit of the educational tax credit. So just make sure that you are getting that all those tax and dependency questions answered. So these are the sections of the FAFSA. So the student section is going to ask them, personal circumstances. So the dependency questions we just went over, it's gonna ask them demographic information, financials, if they file taxes, the balance of their bank accounts, the colleges that they wanna send this to. By the way, you can send a FAFSA to up to 20 colleges. The student doesn't have to have applied and been accepted in order to send the information to these colleges. The parent section is pretty easy. It's the parents' demographics, their financials, again, taxes, assets, and then they will sign off. Once both sections are complete, then the student will get an email saying, congratulations, your FAFSA has been successfully submitted. There are situations where a student is unable to provide parent information due to an unusual circumstance. If this were to happen, then the student will be granted a provisional independent status. So these are situations where a student is a victim of human trafficking. You can read through those. I'm not going to go over those in detail. But if there is a situation where it's like, I cannot get parents' info, make sure that, again, you're talking to a reliable source, the college, or you can contact us and we will guide you through that process. So like I said before, you guys are going to be filing the FAFSA for academic, well, the class of 27 will be filing the FAFSA for academic year 27-28, right? Yes. And that FAFSA will be based on 2025 tax returns. So the FAFSA is behind by 2 years. If there's a situation where you feel that it doesn't paint an accurate picture of what is happening at that time, you are able to file an appeal with the school. So if someone has lost a job, so the income is not there anymore, if there's been a separation or a divorce in the family, if there is out-of-pocket costs for health care, these are things that need to be communicated with the college, and they will determine if they can potentially, hopefully award the student additional financial aid. 33%, 1 in 3 applications get selected for what's called verification. The student will be notified if they have been selected for verification. This request will go to the student's email, so this is very important for students to be checking those emails because the college will communicate directly with them. Failure to respond could delay, reduce, or cancel the student's financial aid. So again, once the student gets that request, you need to respond as quickly as possible to that request. When the FAFSA is submitted, the student is going to get an email saying that the FAFSA has been successfully processed. This means that the colleges listed on the application have that information on file. And then this email will also have a link to their FAFSA submission summary. This is important because this FAFSA submission summary is going to have all the information on the FAFSA, and it's also going to contain other information that might be needed for scholarships, specifically the student's student aid index. So the student aid index is a number that is used by colleges to determine how much and what type of financial aid to award a student. The student's SAI could range from -1,500 to almost $1 million, all right? Again, this number does not change because colleges have different prices. So you can send it to Kirkwood, Mount Mercy, St. Olaf, whatever college you want. This number will not change because these colleges have a different price. And again, this SAI is the reason why we really, really, really encourage you to get the FAFSA done. Is because it's going to give us the SAI, it's going to give us it's a measure of your ability to pay for college. So it's going to be used to determine how much, what type of financial aid to award. How do they come up with this? Well, they take the parent section of the FAFSA, add it to the student section of the FAFSA, and that's how they come up with the student aid index. The financial need formula is as follows. The college will take their cost of attendance, which we went over earlier, subtract it from the SAI they get from your FAFSA, and that's how they come up with your family's financial need. So the college will try to fulfill that need, to fill that funding gap. And they will try to fill that gap with financial aid. But remember how I said earlier, financial aid includes scholarships, grants, loans, and work study. So when you get that financial offer from the college, you really want to make sure you understand what type of financial aid is being used to help cover that funding gap. So again, please remember to fill out the Iowa financial aid application. Again, if you have me do the FAFSA for you, set up an appointment, we can do it virtually. You can come see me downtown Iowa City, and then you can go down to B-Dubs afterward. And I will do the FAFSA for you, and then also do the Iowa application. Again, everything at no cost. Again, just real quick, there is a webinar out there from November that I did. Please remember that, which I will be going over, again, searching for scholarships, writing cover letters, asking for letters of recommendation, the application, writing the essay. I go over all of that. So feel free to go to these websites. And again, another shameless plug, please go into and check out our Step 1 Scholarship database. Again, it's a free resource. And please beware of scams. They're out there. If you get a text message, if you get an email, if it seems kind of too good to be true, it probably is. Just be very careful. When the time comes for you to actually do the FAFSA, just make sure that you are going to the correct website. To get it done, it's studentaid.gov. All right, last part and we're done. Financial offers. So the student has applied and been accepted. They've done the FAFSA, turned in verification forms, gotten scholarships. So now it's time to receive the financial offer from the school, okay? Financial offers come out sometime in the spring, late February, March, April-ish, all right? And the financial offers will be going to the student. Colleges may respond electronically to the college's communication portal. So again, students need to be on top of those. The offer, the financial offer is going to outline any aid they qualified for, whether it's grants or scholarships or loans or work study. Review those items. This is the time for you to ask those questions to the college if you do have additional questions after the financial aid offer is received. Again, please focus on the direct costs versus the indirect cost. Indirect cost is money that students should be saving for right now. Indirect cost is money that I really hope students are not taking out loans for, honestly. Avoid borrowing money to cover those indirect costs. If there is a funding gap, how are you going to fill, how are you going to get that money? Well, a few talking points here. First of all, build a realistic budget, all right? And like I said earlier, consider all 4 years of college or both years of college, depending on how many years you're going to be in school. Consider wants versus needs. Colleges have payment plans, so if you don't want to borrow the entire amount of whatever you need, you can set up the one half as a payment plan, and then maybe borrow the other, okay? Select a less expensive school is an option. I know students don't want to hear this, but if they're going to end up with thousands of dollars in student loan debt, like a lot of student loan debt, is it really worth it? Maybe consider starting off at a community college for less cost and then transferring to that four-year school. Of course, loans are there, federal or private, where it can be a combination of all of these to help cover that funding gap. If you are going to borrow money, please do so wisely. Try to estimate your student loan payments. What I tell students is remember the 1% rule. So whatever total you borrow for your college education, 1% of that is going to be your monthly student loan payment for 10 years. So if you borrow $40,000 to pay for your college, 1% of that, $400, is going to be your monthly student loan payment for 10 years. Can you afford that? Can you afford a monthly payment for 10 years based on the career that you decided to go into? This goes back to the very beginning about career assessments. Because doing this research can determine how much you can spend on your education. Rule of thumb is don't borrow more in student loans than what you're going to be making as a starting salary. So if your starting salary is going to be $47,000, don't borrow more than that to help pay for your education. Okay? There's a lot of tools out there to help you kind of budget these types of things. Rocky, the Return on College Investment tool, and the Game Plan are all really good tools that you can use to kind of decide or determine how much it's going to cost. So after you have decided how you're going to pay for all this stuff, then you would select a college. Again, May 1 is a is a big day in our country for high school students. May 1, senior years, when students should have an idea of what they're going to be doing in the fall. You would commit to a school, register for orientation, okay? During orientation, you would want to talk about payment plans while you're at the college if you are going to do a payment plan. Loans, if you are going to borrow money, there's additional paperwork you have to do. It's not just saying, yes, I accept this money. There's additional things you have to do. And I will leave you with a timeline. So this is for end of junior year, senior year. Okay, so from July to October, you want to apply for admissions. Ideally, if it were up to me, students would apply for admissions before Thanksgiving break. That's just me, okay? From October to December, you want to get your FAFSA done. Again, if you don't want to mess with the FAFSA, I can do it for you. Mr. Reisinger kind of alluded to it, but I've been doing this job since 2007, like before you were born. So I know this application very well. From October to December, file the FAFSA, do those college scholarships. From December to April is when you will be applying for the local scholarships, okay? In May, National Commitment Day. June through July, you're going to do your college orientation, and in August, you will start school. The year is going to go fast, so just make sure that you're aware of what's coming up next, so you're always ahead, and that you're not missing any of those deadlines. For more help, please, you guys have a really good counseling team here. Please ask them for any questions you have. Talk to your admissions representatives, whether it's at Kirkwood or Mount Mercy or whatever school. They are there to help you. You have us as a resource. Again, my name is Lupe. My business card is back there. The last shameless plug, second to last, I have one more. Again, remember, Sunday, March 29th, we'll see you at Kirkwood. And then we have an app. This is new. ICANN has a mobile app. So this will help students and families manage their career and college planning. You will get timely reminders, tailored checklists. Yeah, it's available in the App Store or Google Play. This is fairly new, so I don't know the slide yet, but it's pretty sweet. I played with it a few times. And there is the QR codes if you want to download, just access some of our information here. There's my contact info. Again, business cards back there. And then thank you very, very much. Gabby, thank you so much. Nick, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Reisinger. Any questions?